Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we're recording, as per usual, Monday morning, everyone. Well, actually, not a morning at all. I feel like Monday is just always associated with morning, though. It's not like a Monday evening is not a phrase. Monday morning, though, that's a phrase. But yeah, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to do some D&D today. I think I know what's going to happen today. But the thing I've been definitely finding the most difficult is I've made like way too complicated a story, it feels like sometimes. And I was basically like, okay, I've got to make sure we're back in the things where the story beats matter. And okay, well, hold on, I'll get into that in a second. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:11 PM on Monday, July 14th, 2025. Not that the story beats didn't matter before, but it was like, this is like the overarching story. This is one that I've been laying the groundwork for ages now. I was refreshing myself on the story and I was reading through it and being like, oh man, I really, really hope that if I had to improv any lines regarding this, I keep it consistent with the story. It's really hard to keep it all in check. To be fair, my players probably don't remember every single little detail, so if there are plot holes, and hopefully they don't notice them, but I don't think there have been any yet. It's just a very confusing thing. Like I can say this because it's not spoilers to my players anymore because they do know, but there's some memory altering magic stuff going on because they're getting completely inconsistent, but they're getting like a lot of missing data. A lot of the times they're like asking people about things which they know definitively happened, but then the person can't quite answer them because they're not sure what's going on. They're getting a story. It's a very challenging detective story is what I'd say, because I was like, this group like latched onto the sort of trying to figure out exactly what's going on and what to do about it. So I was like, okay, let's kick it up a notch. I think they can handle this sort of story, and honestly, they're doing very well, especially with all the sort of things I'm like chucking at them. There's like so many different stories interweaving together at this point, which is difficult for me to keep track of, and I'm the one who made it up. So anyway, there's going to be a confrontation probably this session. I'm not actually sure what they expect from this confrontation. I know what I anticipate will happen. I don't know how they're necessarily going to respond to it. I am interested though, nonetheless. It's gonna be weird, is what I'm gonna say. I think it could go a lot of different ways, depending on if they do extremely well, if they do extremely poorly, stuff like that. But I think any way it goes, I think it will be revealing bit by bit, because I don't know if I can say this part yet, but the nature of a lot of the ways that they've been finding out the story thus far have been tainted in one way or another due to this memory fiddling stuff that's going on. I'm not going to say that this one's completely purely untainted, but it was certainly, I think, shed a lot of light on what's going on. But yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about that, to be honest. But the thing I worry most about is not necessarily like massive plot holes will be pretty bad, but I don't think there are any. I think there'll probably be minor plot holes where things don't quite make sense or things feel a bit convoluted. But the one thing I'm most worried about is something which I can't really talk about in great detail, but I guess I would vaguely hint to it being like, I hope it's not a complete blindside for my players, because the interactions have not ended up overlapping. Like, I think they're suspicious in the right direction, so I'm not too worried about it. The only thing I'll be worried about is if upon the reveal they're like, this makes no sense, or this came out of nowhere. But it's kind of a consequence with the actions they're taking has not had a lot of overlap, like a lot of direct overlap is what I'd say, with a big reveal is what I'd say. Such a hard way to phrase it, but that's essentially, maybe that will make more sense. And you might be like, you're the DM, you get to control that, and I think that's absolutely fair. But I also I honestly thought it would happen at some point naturally, and I didn't want to like force it in or anything like that. So who knows, really? Who can say how it goes? Anyway, what we're going to talk about is, I got promoted to class 3 in Uma Musume, which is difficult because at this point I don't have enough horses to be built for all the different races. Most notably, I don't have another sprint racer I can use, I think. What was this one? This one, you're a long racer or a medium racer? I can't remember what I built you as. I think I built you as a medium racer if I recall, but yes, you're a medium racer, okay. And you're like a debuffer. I don't think I've done the others yet, no. I need to do one long, one dirt. I don't know what I'm going to do with a sprint because I genuinely don't have another Uma that I can make run a sprint race. Because, this is such a crazy first world problem, I suppose, with Uma Musume. But here's the thing. I could, actually, wait, hold on. Actually could straight up because I still have my free scout. My free freestyle. I could just choose one who sprints. I don't know why I didn't think about this until just this moment. But I was saying my problem at the moment was the fact that, like, the sprint races there are, I've got Bakushin, who is running sprint. I've got King Halo, who's also running sprint. I've got Haruurara, but she has to run dirt because no one else can. I've got Taiki Shuttle, but she has to also run dirt because no one else can. I mean, it's like, no one else can actually run sprint. I mean, Air Groove can do it badly, which is NG. But I think literally no other Uma I have can run sprint. I'm surprised how few sprinters there are. But I have, I literally didn't think until now. But I can literally just pick a card who can run sprint. Can Ogre Cat run sprint? No, she can't. Okay, well that kind of sucks. Maybe I do Marizensky because she can kind of run sprint. She might be the only one who can kind of run it. Can you run sprint? No. There's so few sprinters in this game. I guess the alternative would be I pick Oguri Cap and I make her run dirt instead of Taiki Shuttle. I make Taiki Shuttle run sprint. And I do El Condor Paso as the other. I don't know. Are there any other dirt runners? There's only one dirt runner, it's Haruurara. Okay, weird. That's an interesting idea though, to do that. Because I could do that. Because I don't know if Oguri Cap... Because Oguri Cap is such a generalist. Is what makes her good, isn't it? Sorry, I'm talking Uma Musume shop, which really you probably don't care about in the slightest. But I was just thinking about it because it's amazing. I was thinking about it not only because I enjoy playing the game, and now I think one of my friends is playing it. I don't think the rest of them are playing it that much, if at all. But I was thinking about it because Ludwig organised like a tournament thing with just like a load of popular streamers just basically racing Uma Musume, and I was just like, I feel like I'm in a pipe dream. Like I'm living in a fantasy land. Like, how does this make... This is such a strange situation to be in. To be like, there's some of the streamers you watch now, some of them are straight up just playing this anime gacha game. Now, is it one that I played with before? No, not until this moment. But it's like along the same lines of Shiny Colours. Like it's probably as weird as like Shiny Colours getting an English release and then suddenly everyone's playing Shiny Colours. I'd just be like, what? How did this happen? I don't know. But here we are, so something's going on, I guess. But But yeah, I was watching a bit of a tournament. It was a very interesting tournament. Sort of, I don't know, bracket or like format is maybe how I describe it. Oh, my air groove is not good enough at running medium at ATM. I need to make a better air groove, I think. Oh no, can I choose a one with every win? I can't. But I didn't realise that that's how the presents work. Sometimes you get a buff for every time you win. Because I could have done that and got 5 presents. But yeah, there was like a tournament that Lugwid made for all of the 15 people to come together and basically do a tournament and race in Uma Musume. And the general concept is basically you had to start a new account and you basically had like 3 hours to make your team or to make one MVP racer, and then that's it, then you go. And I was like, that's a really cool concept. I had a thought before of like, I wonder if it would be very funny, especially with shiny colours, because you can play it on the browser. If I like try and did a race with my friends, like set them some sort of very simple to do goal in shiny colours, except for obviously it's all in Japanese, but I don't know how on earth the game mechanics works in shiny colours. And they basically made a goal of like, you know, get to this week in the campaign mode or something in Wing. But then I thought about it a bit more, and I think I'd probably not. It basically, I think, only be fun for me watching, and probably would not be that fun to actually play. It might be fun for a little bit, but I think it would probably get pretty boring past the 10-minute mark. But it was an interesting idea. This is kind of like just the upgraded version, except for everyone actually knows kind of how to play. And it's wild watching it. Well, my perspective watching it, because this is like. This is not the game I expected to be a breakout game, which won everyone over, you know? I didn't expect this to be like, people were like, oh, I'm absolutely enamored. Uma Musume. Again, not a bad thing. It's just surprising. If anything. But people are just sort of like, you know, jiving with it so hard. Yeah, what else to say about it, to be honest? But I think it's an interesting format. Because I was immediately like, obviously I'm not entering that tournament they're doing. Like, I'm not part of a friend group. I don't even know who they are, most of them. But I was thinking to myself, you know, I have a decent amount of experience in this game now. I've done like a bit of reading about it. I have familiarity with a sort of style of gacha game. What would I have done in it? So the premise they had is, you know, basically that you had to start a new run. They had like these really OP friends which they could borrow stuff from. They could reroll like thrice or something, or once, I can't remember. And something else. They basically had to make one horse for a medium length race. And that was it. That was a prompt. My immediate thought went, you gotta basically, you reroll till you get a decent support. Maybe a decent couple supports. And then you pick Oguri Cap. You make the 2 parents. I don't know which 2 parents you would necessarily make. I guess it depends which ones you got. I don't know who's got one of the better inheritable skills. But presumably he would do someone who has good like medium proficiency. So like vodka and I don't know. Actually, probably you do nice nature, right? Because I was also thinking like debuff skills are probably crazy there, because everyone's stats are pretty low at the moment, so debuff matters a lot more than buffs do. So then you make that as a 2 parents, and you run Oguri Cap. I mean, you just basically give her as much debuff stuff as possible and enough stamina that she survives, and she'll probably just. And you can run her late as well, I suppose, which is not going to be a particularly common, I think, position for people to run her in. I imagine most people will probably run her pace because it's a bit safer. Not safer, it's just easier to build the further up they are. See, this is the sort of thing. It's fun to think about these optimization sort of challenges in a way. Because it's just like, oh, it's strange to think about. Taking like this gacha game and being like, oh yeah, let's optimize it to like competitively. Because most of the time, in fact, nearly all the time, I'd say with competitive gacha, it would just be like, well, but how much money are you willing to sort of drop in, I suppose. And for most people, a very reasonable answer is NTY, none, thank you. Sorry, a bit of a jump cut there. But yeah, it's just a sort of very interesting situation to watch and to sort of think about. I think it was more interesting to think about because I was just like, I wonder how I would do it, essentially. Do I think I would have won? I don't know. I haven't actually seen who's won yet because it got like really late and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch this all the way through. This is it's like it's past 3 a.m, which is pretty, like I'm okay with staying up like to 3 a.m. I don't normally go past that because I'm just like, there's no point at that point. I don't need that much sleep, but I do need some sleep. So it's just like, there is no benefit to watching. I'll just watch it tomorrow. Although I guess I'm also playing D&D today, so I won't have time. And then I also need to record an Animal Well episode. So maybe I super won't have time, I don't know. But I don't know. It's cool to think of. Like, that's a really fun challenge. Because I feel like these gacha games has a very interesting way of having strategic depth at the beginning when money starts not mattering too much. Being able to do these races of like who can do X, Y, Z. The thing is, you need a load of people who know how to actually play the gacha game, right? So I think it's a great thing that Uma Musume has become so popular. At least I find it a very fun thing to watch, or at least I find it fun to watch Northern 9 play it. Is what I'd say. But yeah, like these sort of like gacha style races, like making new accounts sort of races, are always very interesting. But I think you need a certain like group of friends for that to really make sense, who one want to do the races and two who all know that game in the first place. Because I feel like there's a nice balance with something like Uma Musume doing races, where it's like it's not as try hard as doing like League of Legends 1v1s or something, but it's not as like pointless as doing it's not as like a party game style as doing Mario Party. It sits in like weird in between where it's like an uncanny valley of competitiveness, where it's like it's hard to take it that seriously. I mean, come on, it's a gacha where you're racing anthropomorphized versions of horses, right? What sense does that make? But at the same time, there is strategy to be had there. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of like doing like competitive Neopets games. Maybe it's like that sort of vibe. Where it's like, why would you do that? Well, I don't know, it's kind of funny. Or like Winnie the Pooh Home Run Derby, fighting your friends in that. I don't know. Anyway, it's like silly uncanny competitiveness. Uncanny Valley competition. No, I don't know what I'm going to title this episode, but something like that. But anyway, I'm going to round this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewells. Until next time, bye bye for now.